Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Let's talk self-love. It sounds like a nice, fluffy little thing to say. We say, oh, I love myself, or I'm working on self-love. But I think oftentimes it can be kind of confusing, where we're not quite sure, what does that even mean? How do you love yourself? It certainly is not all bubble baths and massages, that is for sure. It's not necessarily pampering, although that can be a part of it. Nurturing yourself certainly is a big piece of it. But what does that mean? It's not always 100% clear. And certainly all of us, if you're here, have likely struggled with loving yourself at some point, or even looking at yourself in the mirror. Have you ever tried looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I love you? How uncomfortable that can be when you do it for the very first time. Many of us have even had a phase where we disliked ourselves, where in some extremes there is a disgust or even a distaste for ourselves, right? That we look at ourselves in the mirror and we judge all of our flaws. In fact, I noticed at one point that we've even decided, or I had even decided, what I was going to see before I even looked in the mirror. I knew I wasn't going to like my weight, my hair, my skin, whatever it was that day. That if you start to become conscious of and aware of the approaching moments as you go to look in the mirror, are you already beating yourself up before you even look in the mirror? Others of us may not struggle necessarily with the outward appearance, but maybe the decisions we've made in the past, the situations we found ourselves in, the repercussions of the choices we made start to define us or define how we see ourselves, whether or not we're worthy or lovable. The danger of this is when we don't love ourselves, or we dislike ourselves, or we judge ourselves and we blame ourselves, or we've deemed ourselves broken or unworthy, that it becomes inescapable. We are in the prison of our own minds, trapped in our own bodies. We can't get away from ourselves. We have to live with ourselves. The ultimate punishment. There's no escaping the beliefs that plague us around who we are and what we're worth, how we show up in the world. Things like our hair, our skin color, our teeth, our smile, the way we talk, our voice, the thoughts we think. It feels like a prison. So if we have to live with ourselves and we can't escape it, wouldn't it be worth trying to figure out how to at least make it livable? Right? Isn't it worth the effort to escape the torture of not enoughness? It would seem worth finding a way to heal that fracture within ourselves. So how do we do it? Right? How do we love ourselves? How do we love ourselves when we cannot find peace within ourselves, about ourselves, for ourselves, through ourselves? And I realized as I did the prep work on this, the word ourselves is going to get kind of annoying. But there really isn't a lot of language around this, and I don't want to dilute the message. So maybe notice the trigger. If it bothers you or rubs you the wrong way, why? Where does that come from? When was the first time you felt that? What prompted it initially? Right? So to love ourselves means to stop punishing ourselves. Right? To stop punishing us for who we are. To stop the cycle of self-deprecation. Right? To stop beating ourselves up. Stop punishing ourselves both physically, but also emotionally and mentally. to stop berating ourselves. We literally give ourselves a lashing, sometimes every second of every day. To learn to have grace for how we show up in the world. Grace for being human. To allow ourselves to be human, to make mistakes, to make space for imperfection. To learn how to take a bow when we trip or to giggle when we fart in public. Right? To stop punishing ourselves for who we are. To recognize the program that is out there that says you have to be perfect. You have to measure up. To make a new choice, to say that's not my belief system anymore. To care about how that makes you feel. To care about how you feel in general. To do something about it when you feel crappy. To eat when you're hungry. To pack a lunch for yourself when you pack a lunch for everyone else. To listen to your desires, to care about your needs and to meet your needs. To show up for yourself just the same way you would show up for everyone else. No longer abandoning yourself. To see your beauty and acknowledge how far you've come. To see your gifts, to see your strengths, to honor your strength. To give yourself a pat on the back, become your own cheerleader, to care about what matters to you. Just as a loving mother would care about her child. Notice I say a loving mother. It may not be how your mother treated you. Notice there's a difference. To parent yourself, to reparent yourself, the way a healthy, loving parent would care about their child's needs. To be gentle with yourself, to speak kindly and compassionately, to have patience and empathy, to be understanding of yourself, to refrain from judgment or labeling, from shoulding all over yourself, to choose a better story about who you are, about the way you acted, about the repercussions of the choices you made. To be compassionate enough to say, good job, you survived. You found a way to make it this far. To be kind enough and loving enough to say you did exactly as you needed to do in those moments. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is okay. You are okay. Just the way you are. It is perfectly reasonable for you to be right where you are. It would be unfair to expect a whole lot more. And now that you know better, you can do better, and that's okay. To put down the judgment and the label around all the things you did or didn't do, and all the things you should have done, all the things you should have known. How dare you misspeak in that meeting? That's not very kind. That's not very fair. You deserve grace to be a human, to make a mistake, right? To be loving and to be supportive. To be your own cheerleader. To show up for yourself. At the same time, it also kind of means doing some of the hard things. Defining boundaries. Cutting toxic people out of your life. But also boundaries for yourself. Right? To show up for yourself, to not abandon yourself, means to do the hard things. To brush your teeth. To pay your bills, to show up to work on time, to get enough sleep. When you're tired, the world seems like it's hopeless. Everything seems 100 times worse. So getting sleep is loving yourself. To eat the foods that contain light, that contain the water and the hydration and the nutrition that you need, that's showing up for yourself. That's loving yourself. To take the time to nurture your mind, to still your mind, to have the mental hygiene of choosing appropriate thoughts, of being your own cheerleader, to take action on the guidance that you receive and not allow yourself to remain in perpetual hermit mode under the guise of healing. And I'm not saying that sometimes we might need healing time. We might need a little hermit mode, but just don't get stuck there. That a commitment to action and following your guidance is self-love. It is loving yourself enough to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and say, this is not the life that I'm going to live. This is not how my story will end. To commit to change, to commit to choosing different thoughts, to commit to a new life, to honor your body and your divine purpose. And it might feel funny at first. In fact, I don't think I've met anybody it didn't feel funny at first for. I remember saying, it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel real. It feels fake, and I don't want to be fake. But the thing is, it feels uncomfortable because it's different and new, not because it's not true. Not because it's not necessary or valuable. Unfamiliar just means uncomfortable, and uncomfortable often feels that way because it's unfamiliar. And essentially you're just building new neural pathways. You don't have the neurobiological systems yet to support that, right? And I talk a lot about the dendrite, but it's worth repeating that as you have these negative patterns, these negative beliefs, these negative thought habits, that is because you have a neural pathway. A strong neural pathway is called a dendrite. It looks like a tree-like structure in your brain. And so to create a new one, which is possible, you can have that strong thought habit of, I am lovable, I am worthy, I am awesome and amazing, I have beautiful gifts, I am a gift to the world, I am made with purpose and intention, I'm perfectly imperfect for my purpose because my divine creator knew that I was needed and the world needs that special gift that only I have to offer. That is a thought habit. And it starts with the belief, which is kind of a nub. And then as you repeat it over and over and you continue to go there and you continue to reinforce that belief that I am worthy and I am lovable and I am valuable, I have something to offer, I matter. It grows from a nub to a stem to a tree-like structure. Now this could seem frustrating, but it takes about 90 days to get to your nub. But actually it should be reassuring that it's not hopeless, it just takes time. That as you consistently reinforce and exercise that neural pathway, it will grow. And over 6 months to a year, you will have a fully formed tree-like structure, which means it's a habit, which means you go there quickly and easily without any effort. And so it is possible, and it all starts with caring about how you feel. Self-love is showing up for yourself. It is possible, my friends. You can get there. You got this. I believe in you. I'm here for you. And if you need any further support, I offer free 30-minute sessions. Oftentimes, they can be 30-minute sessions to identify your abundance blocks, but often that is related directly to your belief in your value and your worth, your self-love, your self-worth. So however you want to take advantage of that free 30-minute session is up to you. Oftentimes they come hand in hand, and I can pretty much knock out the source of your challenges, or at least identify it, I should say, within 30 minutes. So I would love to connect with you. You guys matter. You are my why. Your potential is the reason I was built to nurture and support. So I would really love to connect with you. So reach out. It's free, like I said. Just schedule 30 minutes and I will see you on the next video. Namaste, my friends. Take care.